Well, it's great here at Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. It's Radio Row. It's chaos every day. It feels like there's more and more people showing up. And we get a chance today to talk to the Vikings running back, Alexander Mattison, who's joining us on Sports Spectrum. What's up, my friend?
How's it going?
Doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Blessed.
Yeah? Feeling good?
Yeah.
Healthy?
Great.
Everything's good there?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I feel great.
Let's talk about this past season. This was a season where you got a chance to get the ball a little bit more. A little more prominent role with the Vikings. It wasn't the best season for the team, obviously. A lot of injuries, and certainly losing Kirk isn't what you're hoping for. But you battled, and you were fighting all the way to the end. Assess this season from your perspective and how you thought it went.
I use the word roller coaster. It was one of those seasons, definitely started out at the bottom when it comes out to how we started out the season, how close we were to getting some of those victories, even with the crazy turnover margin. And then, riding the high where, we feel like we're back, we're bouncing back. And then, the lows again, they come, Kirk, JJ,
I know.
Just a bunch of different pieces that started to fall down a little bit for us, and trying to bounce back from that was definitely a hard thing. And so this season was just, oh man, it was rough.
It feels like
around.
When you say roller coaster, that's not just this season. I mean, even last year, you had a great year as far as 2022 in the season, record-wise and wins. But it doesn't matter. You've been in this league now 5 years. It's a roller coaster every year, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
mentally and physically.
It really is. We talk about it a lot. The ball's shaped funny, and that's exactly how the game goes. It can go either direction, whatever direction. You never know how it's going to bounce, and that's just how the season went for us. It was one of those seasons where it shaped out to be a lot more like the ball than we wanted it to be. Last year we were on the winning side of those games. I think we're 11-0 in those one-score games and those crazy games that we were in.
Greatest comeback ever.
Yeah. And this year we ended up on the other side a little too many times. So it's one of those things you just have to go back to the drawing board and do whatever you can, fine-tune the details, and get back on the winning side of it.
Let's talk about Alexander Mattison's faith. That's what we're about, sports and faith. Tell me about the Lord in your life and the importance of God in the spiritual journey of Alexander Mattison.
First and foremost, I always got to give praise. It's one of those things. I wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for me following God's plan, me trying to live that out to the fullest. And so, every day in my life, I just walk by faith. I understand that I've been blessed. I've been blessed beyond measures, and it's one of those things that keeps me going and lets me know, I'm on the right path. I'm always reminded when I can put a smile on someone's face, when I can shake a hand and be thanked for just providing some motivation or inspiration. That lets me know that what I'm doing is way bigger than football. And, I've always looked at it that way, and, as long as I'm blessed to continue to play this game, I'll make sure that I keep doing that, and make sure everyone understands, too, that, I wouldn't be here if God didn't bless me with the ability and the resources and everything to be on this path that I'm on. Your testimony, does it go back to your upbringing growing up? Yeah, definitely. I mean, raised in the church, of course, my mom and dad. But coming from where I came from, San Bernardino, I understood that, it was going to take a lot more. It was going to take a lot more than just a few prayers to make it out.
Yeah.
And I was able to understand that, from a deeper perspective, that it was going to take a lot of me. And it took a village as well. All the people that I had in my life, the coaches that I've had, my pastor, my aunt and uncle, my family in general, the support and love and everything that I was surrounded with to help push me. Definitely pushed me there. But, yeah, it was one of those things where I understood, I needed to make it out, and I needed to follow God's plan for me. And saw it all the way through, and now look at me here. 5 years in, living the dream.
Yeah, living the dream, man. I mean, you're an NFL player. That alone, right, is it's got to bring some gratitude, I think, when you think about your journey and thinking about God's plan. Because God's plan, I always say, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. Follow him in all your ways, and he'll make your path straight. And it's like, yeah, he makes your path straight. But it's a lot. We talk about roller coasters. It's not the cleanest path. But then when you look back, you're like, oh, I saw all the things that God was doing on the journey. I'm sure you can attest to all of that.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was one of those things where, there's been a few times where I've kept questioning, why me?
Yeah, of course. We've all been there.
Just injuries and just everything that you go through. I went through a rough time in college, and that's how I found my way advocating for mental health.
Yes.
And it got to a point where it was just like what is happening? It's just one thing after the next, and I was this close to walking away from football, and just not knowing if it was the life for me, not knowing if I was doing, it was just so many questions in my head, and finally got to a point where I was able to let go and let God, and that's around the time when I started reading that book as well, with our team chaplain, and things just started at Boise State. Things just started slowly turning around, and that's when I knew, that's when I understood that he was going to use me in a way to impact lives, change lives, and do the best that I could to use my resources, my platform to do that.
Yeah, the book Alexander is referring to was a devotional that I happened to see. I was on a tour of the facility back last June of 23 at the Vikings facility, and I'm seeing all the lockers. It's beautiful, by the way, that facility. Yeah. And I see your name, and I'm just looking, and I kind of see this devotional book, and it's in there from my friend T.C. Stallings, who I've known for a long time, and I just showed you the picture before we started recording, and you're like, yeah, that's the book I started reading when I was in college. So pretty cool to see kind of God. I can understand why you would keep that there too, as a nice reminder. Let me ask you about mental health, though, and I don't know if I am gifted has something to do with it. I kind of think it does.
Yeah.
The shirt and the hat that you're wearing. But where was the point, the pivot, where you realized I need to? God is steering me towards, this professional football life and this journey, but mental health being so important, something's still out of whack here, and I need to kind of figure that out. And then I need to share it with others to help them. Tell us that journey and story real quick.
During that time when things were going rough, it was one injury after the next. Things weren't going the best. I was trying to send money home to help my parents. During that summer, we don't get paid, so I'm working this moving company job. And so
what year is this between your NFL journey?
This is
after year one, year two.
This was going into my sophomore year in college.
At Boise State.
At Boise State. And so that was 2017, I believe, that summer.
Yeah.
Different things. I lost a friend who, he got murdered back home. It was so much time and time again. Transmission to my car just so happened to blow out, and I'm pushing it to the weight room at 5 in the morning, and coaches don't care what the excuse is, and so all of these little things.
And you're questioning God too, like, what are you doing, Lord?
Yeah, and trying to come back from injury. There's just so much that was starting to stack up, like day after day, week after week, month after month during that time period.
Yeah,
and I didn't know what mental health was. I didn't know any resources for this. I just knew that I was struggling, and it got to a point where I was able to let go, let God, and then started to kind of feel relief because I was trying everything I could to fix, and it was just like, look, you need to just step back, because nothing you're going to do is going to make it better. You're just going to end up in a hole deeper than what you're in. And I got to a point where, Tyler Helinski, quarterback for Washington State at the time, he took his life. And
I remember that.
I was devastated. We went to a triple overtime game with them, and when you leave all that out on the field, you leave room for emotions to be felt with that other locker room. And that was a point where I knew, like, dang, I was down bad, and he chose that route, and I chose a different one. I know there's so many people out there that are struggling and towing that line, which route to choose. So when I got to the NFL, things came to light, and it circled back to me. I was able to kind of get through the next season, and then I had a hard time struggling do I leave, do I stay? And I ended up leaving early and praying on it, and it all worked out. But I knew why it worked out. It worked out because it was time for me to use my platform. It was time for me to use my testimony, my story, and what I've been through to help other people. And so that's where I Am Gifted was born. it just came upon me where I knew, you know, how can I use my logo? It's not just slapping it on a T-shirt.
Sure.
It's not just having a youth camp and just saying Alexander Mattison football camp, but I wanted it to be a movement. Not just a brand. And so that's why, you know, I came up with I Am Gifted, and it just touched my heart that, you know, what we're going to do is we're going to provide information, resources, and use this to impact lives on behalf of mental health. And so, you know, we walk down that path just letting everyone know that you're born with a gift, and you just have to find it, embrace it, and use it to shed light in this world. And so now, you know, I'm blessed here today, partnered with Vikings, and they've done an amazing job as far as building a partnership with me to help promote the brand, be here today and be able to talk about it. But it's one of those things for me that I hold near and dear to my heart. I mean, I have so many different tattoos that have the message behind it because it means so much to me. And I just want everyone to understand that, you know, whatever you have going on in your life, you're not alone. And, you know, I'm blessed to be in a position where God allowed me to share that message, and just going to continue to try and do what I can to impact lives.
Absolutely. And fueled by your faith. That's the beautiful thing to see all of this, is like seeing God bless you and give you a platform to be able to help other people and to be able to give them this message that they are gifted. You might be struggling with mental health, but God has a plan and a purpose for your life too.
Yes, sir.
That's
Amen
good stuff,
to that.
man.
Yeah.
He is Alexander Mattison. Hey, thanks for taking a few minutes with us. Hopefully get back on sometime, but all the best to you, and thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it. Thank you.